Coming in at number 4 on our top 10 list of neighborhoods to look at in 2024. If you live here, if you're looking to relocate, or if you're looking to move here from out of state, this is the list you want to pay attention to. We're going to cover everything you want to know. Where are these neighborhoods and why do people want to be in them? What does the shopping and local amenities look like for these neighborhoods? What's the commute times look like around the Denver area? And of course, the real estate and what are prices doing? So let's hop into number 4 here, which is the West Highlands neighborhood. Now, the West Highland neighborhood is just north of Sloan Lake, which we hit earlier on this list, which is just to the west of I-25, just to the northwest of downtown Denver. These diagonal streets here, downtown Denver. So you're just a hop, skip, and a jump on the other side of I-25 to get to the West Highland neighborhood. Now, what's cool about this neighborhood is that you have a big mix of old properties and new properties. So there's a lot of unique characteristics about the West Highland neighborhood, and I can't wait to show that to you. But starting off with what a lot of people want to know is, what about crime and safety in the West Highland neighborhood? Well, as you know, we fall above the national norm for vehicle thefts and burglaries. Now, in the West Highland neighborhood, we're no different. Motor vehicle theft is almost 3 times the national average. Regular theft is about even. Burglaries are a bit above the national average. Violent crimes, though, we are below the national average. That's just kind of the trend for Denver. And if you're new here to my channel, welcome. My name's Alex Saldana. I've been a local Denver real estate agent since 2010, and I love to answer the questions you have about the Denver market. So if you have any questions, feel free, call, text. Nights, days, weekends, I got you covered. Now, what are the schools looking like for the West Highlands neighborhood? So Edison Elementary on greatschools.org is rated as an 8 out of 10, which is extremely high. Bryant Webster Middle School is rated about a 5, which is kind of the norm for middle schools across the country. And then the high school is rated at a 4 out of 10 for North High School. But as you know, most of Denver, people like to choice into schools, so you can kind of have your pick of where you want to go. Yes, you do have to go through a process, but the chances are pretty high that you can get number 1, 2, or 3 on your list if you don't like the school that's considered your in-home school. Now, if you live in the West Highland neighborhood, this is what's really awesome about this, is what does your shopping and amenities kind of look like? Well, what's great is you have this little chunk of West Highlands that is its own little downtown area, okay? And we can go ahead and take our little Google guy and drop it. And this is on Lowell here, Lowell and 32nd. And you can see, like, within the city, you have your own little city. So this is where you're going to have a bunch of restaurants, boutique shops, coffee shops. And that's one of the big appeals to a lot of these that are rated high on the lists that you're going to notice is that they all have their little nooks that, you know, people really like. So you don't feel like you have to get out of your bubble to go to a restaurant, right? To go to a bar, to go to a coffee shop. You can stay within it. Now, for your more common shopping here, you know, your Targets, your, you know, grocery shopping, you're most likely going to be heading to the east over to Federal or to the west over on Sheridan to get more of your shopping done. But everything here still is really close to you in the West Highlands neighborhood. And if you have to drive to DTC for work, you got about a 20-minute drive south, not so bad. If you're going to head to downtown, you got about a 15-minute drive to the east. And if you're going to head out to DIA in Kansas, you got about a 30-minute drive. So what's going on with the real estate in the West Highlands neighborhood? Well, let's break down the top statistics that are important to you when it comes to looking for a home. Starting with just how many properties have sold in the West Highlands neighborhood in 2023 was 175. So it's a fair amount of properties versus 2022 at 224. Now we're down across the board, which is the norm across the country. We're down just about 50% in sales everywhere because of interest rates. Now the median close price is on the higher side at $886,000 for the year 2023, which is down a little bit from 2022 of $895,000. And then here again, I was a little surprised at this number. I find myself being more surprised at the rent-to-own numbers throughout these different Denver neighborhoods. And we can see here that the rental ownership percentage is 36% versus 64% on the homeowner status. Now, the average days on the MLS is 21 days in 2023 versus 12 days in 2022. So these are extremely low numbers, ladies and gentlemen. So when you're looking at a house in the West Highlands neighborhood, you got to realize if it's been on the market for 3 weeks, it's starting to get old. Things move fast here. And then if you were looking for a house in the West Highlands neighborhood, this is what's available today, starting on the west side of town. And this is what's great about the West Highlands neighborhood. You're going to have a big mix of older Victorians that were built in the early 1900s to a lot of new construction, some multifamily, some condos. Like there is a mix of everything here. The streets are nice feeling. There's big old growth trees. So you get those trees that grow over the street that just make it really warm and inviting. And on the west side of town here, starting at 2.3 million, we've got a new build property here, 4,300 square feet. And it's going to be everything you expect out of a new build construction. Looks like concrete floors. It's going to be more the modern type of feel here for the most part with the new construction in the West Highlands neighborhood. Beautiful kitchen. And then as we head a little bit further east, let's take a look here. 890,000, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet. So this is an older home built in 1942. So this is just going to be more of a single story ranch here. So at this price to have a fully updated house, 2,000 square feet, you're going to be in that, 750 to kind of 1.1-ish range, depending on how nicely it's done. And then let's take a look at a smaller property here. This is more on a townhouse level. So this is 600,000 at 1,300 square feet. And this is kind of a row home or a townhouse where they were like a multi-family property and they got split up to sell them individually. And this one just looks like it's rental ready. It's a bit dated, but it's in very livable condition. And 1,300 square feet for 600,000. That's what you're going to get in the West Highlands neighborhood. Now, as we go east on the other side of Lowell, it kind of changes a little bit. As you get closer to Spear, everything gets a little bit busier. So let's take a look here. We've got a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. Again, it's a multi-family home, kind of a townhome style. And this was separated. Now, this is fully updated, but this should be on the small side. 1-bedroom, 1-bath at 625 square feet for 465,000. And then we can head even further close here. This one's close to Spear at 875,000. We've got this one at 1,700 square feet, and it's a little bit older of a Victorian home. And it looks like it should be fairly well updated, but still a lot of that original charm to it that you get in those old Victorian homes. Now, be sure to join us tomorrow for number 3 on our list in the top 10 neighborhoods in Denver. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free, call, text, just reach out. Be happy to answer any questions you have.